Sometimes people don't walk away. They don't shout. They don't create drama. They just stop showing up emotionally. And that silence hurts more than any breakup ever could. My name is Maya, and in today's video we are going to talk about 5 signs that tell you someone is mentally done with you. Not angry. Not confused. Not needing space. Mentally done. This video isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to give you clarity, the kind that protects your self-respect. Let's start with the first sign. The first thing they do is this. They stop reacting to things that used to matter. Earlier, if you were upset, they noticed. If you were quiet, they asked what was wrong. If there was tension, they wanted to fix it. Now, you could be hurting right in front of them and they barely respond. No curiosity. No concern. No emotional urgency. It's not that they don't see your pain. It's that they no longer feel responsible for it. This is important to understand. When someone still cares, even anger has emotion in it. Arguments still mean attachment. But indifference? That's emotional withdrawal. When reactions disappear, effort disappears too. And deep down, you start feeling invisible, even while sitting right next to them. The second sign is even more painful. They stop explaining themselves. Earlier, if they were late, distant, or busy, they would explain. They wanted you to understand. Now, short answers. Vague responses. No reason. It's nothing. Don't overthink. This isn't about privacy. This is about disengagement. When someone is mentally checked in, they want clarity. When they're mentally checked out, they don't feel the need to justify anything. Because in their mind, your emotional understanding is no longer a priority. And slowly, conversations stop feeling like conversations. They feel like formal updates. You talk. They respond. But the connection is missing. The third sign is subtle, but extremely telling. They stop sharing their inner world with you. They still talk, but only about surface things. Work, tasks, schedules, random topics. But their fears? Their dreams? Their thoughts? Their struggles? Those stay locked away. You're no longer the person they emotionally unload with. You're no longer their safe space. And here's the hardest truth. People don't stop sharing because they're tired. They stop sharing because they no longer feel emotionally invested. This creates a strange loneliness. You're in the relationship, but not inside their life anymore. The fourth sign often gets misunderstood. They stop trying to fix problems. Earlier, even small issues mattered. They wanted solutions. They wanted peace. Now, they let problems sit. They avoid difficult conversations. They say things like, "It is what it is. Why make a big deal out of it? Let it go." This isn't emotional maturity. This is emotional resignation. In their mind, the relationship is no longer worth repairing. And when someone stops trying to fix what's broken, it usually means they've already decided not to stay long enough to enjoy it fixed. That realization hurts, because you're still trying, still hoping, still believing effort can change things. But effort only works when both people are emotionally present. Now let's talk about the fifth sign, the one most people ignore until it's too late. They treat you with politeness instead of warmth. They're not rude. They're not cruel. They're neutral. They say, "Okay," instead of "tell me more." They listen, but don't lean in. They're respectful, but distant. It feels safe, but empty. And that's because politeness is what people use when emotional intimacy is gone. But they don't want conflict. This is the emotional goodbye that doesn't use words. At this point, you start doubting yourself. You ask, "Am I overthinking? Maybe they're just stressed. Maybe I'm asking for too much." But your nervous system already knows the truth. You don't feel chosen anymore. And that feeling doesn't come from imagination. It comes from emotional signals that no longer match your effort. Now here's something very important you need to hear. Someone being mentally done with you does not mean you failed. It does not mean you are unlovable. And it definitely does not mean you weren't enough. It simply means the emotional contract changed without your consent. And that's why it hurts so deeply. Because you're still emotionally present in a relationship that no longer exists the same way. So, what should you do when you notice these signs? First, stop chasing clarity from someone who has already emotionally decided. When people are mentally done, they don't give honest closure. They give confusion. Not because they're evil, but because they don't want confrontation or guilt. Second, observe actions, not promises. Someone can say, "I care," while behaving like they don't. Your nervous system trusts behavior, not words. Third, do not beg for effort. Effort given under pressure is temporary. Genuine effort comes from emotional presence. And if someone needs to be convinced to care, they've already stopped caring. This is the hardest lesson, but also the most freeing. You don't lose people who are meant to stay. You lose people who are already leaving emotionally. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop trying to revive a connection that has already ended in someone else's mind. This doesn't mean you walk away angrily. It means you walk away with dignity. Because staying where you are emotionally invisible teaches your heart to accept less than it deserves. And you deserve presence. You deserve curiosity. You deserve effort that doesn't need reminders. If this video feels personal, it's because you're not alone. Many people stay too long not because they don't see the signs, but because they hope love will return if they just try harder. But love doesn't come back through self-abandonment. It comes back through self-respect. If this message gave you clarity, take a deep breath. Sometimes clarity hurts first and heals later. And if you want more emotionally honest conversations like this, make sure you're subscribed. You don't need someone who is mentally done with you. You need someone who chooses you even on quiet days.